Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Taft City Council Successor Agency Joint Regular Meeting of Tuesday, February 3rd, 2015 here at City Hall. As a courtesy to all of us, if you have a cell phone, would you please put it on vibrate or mute? We would appreciate it. Tonight, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation. Mr. Jordan, would you be willing to do the invocation for us tonight? Okay. Pledge of Allegiance be led by Josh Bryant.
Thank you.
Our councilman. So if you would please stand.
Everyone, please join me as we salute our nation's flag. Salute. Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Jordan.
Father God, blessed Jesus, we just thank you for the ability to meet here as friends and co-workers to do the work that we have to do for our community. Father, we ask you to bless this great nation, this state, the county, and the wonderful town we live and work in. May we all learn that we have to go through you to get what needs to be done in the right time, in the right way. We thank you. May everyone here be blessed, and all these councilmen for their time and effort be blessed. Through the name and power of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, and be seated. Madam Clerk, will you take roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Cryer.
Here.
Councilmember Bryant.
Here.
Councilmember Hill.
Here.
And Mayor Miller.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Noor is absent.
Okay. He indicated that he may or may not be able to make the meeting tonight, so work commitments, otherwise he would be here. All right, we're going to move on to item number 1, public hearing, consideration of an ordinance regarding the sale and distribution of synthetic compounds and derivatives, also known as bath salts. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The purpose and intent of this ordinance is to provide the City of Taft with a reasonable measure to address the dangers to the community posed by synthetic drugs that are not regulated by state or federal law. Recreational or other use of psychoactive bath salts, psychoactive herbal incense, and similar products commonly known as synthetic drugs have been documented to cause hallucinations, agitation, psychosis, aggression, suicidal and homicidal thoughts, and including death. While the state and federal laws regulations prohibit some synthetic drugs, the makers of these drugs continually alter the composition of the compounds and their products so they can escape the purview of these laws and regulations. A number of other California cities have adopted and successfully enforced such ordinances.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jones. Excuse me. Recommended action is we conduct a public hearing, and as such, I will open to a public hearing for anyone wishing to speak on behalf of this ordinance or against this ordinance. Seeing none at this time, but I notice Chief Whiting is coming forward. Chief Whiting.
Mr. Mayor, City Council persons, this is just another tool for law enforcement to be able to help get rid of these synthetic drugs from our community. We have dealt with it on numerous occasions. We see that the harm it does to our citizens and to the community overall. Excuse me. We also know the businesses that sell it, both under the table and out the back door. And this ordinance goes a long way to address those inadequacies so that we can keep those things from our community and keep our citizens safe. So we absolutely approve this, and we believe this is the right step in the right direction to do that.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody have any questions for Chief?
Yes, I have one question. Chief, how many businesses would be affected by this ordinance at this time? That we know are selling this, or do we have anybody in town?
Without naming them?
Without naming them.
At least 3.
Okay.
But this would keep any business, legitimate business in the community from selling these products.
Yes. And it gives tools to the city to deal with a business license. for people who continually violate the ordinance, and to, if using the proper municipal code, to actually remove their business license should they continue to do so. So just another tool in the toolbox, and we're in favor of that.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Is there any others that wish to speak on behalf or against this ordinance? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and move on to item 2. I'll entertain a motion to approve the City of Taft Ordinance Title 3, Chapter 7, entitled, "An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Taft Prohibiting the Production, Distribution, and Sale of Synthetic Compound Derivatives, also known as bath salts, for the first reading by title only, and reading of such be waived."
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Pryor.
It's so important, pass these, because like, we've all been through it before, where, they get arrested for passing, the substance, and then let's say basically by changing a couple of molecules in it, and it's legal again, and, it's forever, trying to stay ahead of them and the costs involved. And we need to protect our children, our kids out there, from being tempted and using it. And once they use that, it's hard to get off of it, because a gateway drug is to start from one drug to another, and I'm just more concerned for our kids' future, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Ms. Hill.
No, I just think this is a long time coming. Let's do it.
It's just nice to see these items are actually being classified with other illicit and illegal drugs as they are. There's nobody in here who can, in their right mind, and honestly tell us that these things have any other purpose besides exactly what they're used for, is to get high. So it's nice to see us taking a stand as a city and making an ordinance something that our police can enforce.
Okay. Although it's an ordinance for the so-called bath salt, it's also for a street name by Spice, which is basically a synthetic marijuana. So we're trying to stop this, and basically these are not illegal products by state or federal ordinance, but we just have identified that we just don't want those products in this community. They're affecting our children, they're affecting behavior. It has no single purpose but other than to get high, and that's not what we want, and we don't want our businesses in this community of the City of Taft to be selling these products, and that's where we're at tonight. So, Madam Clerk, will you take roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Hill?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes. That passes on a 4-0 vote with one absent, and I know if Councilman Hill, Knorr was here tonight, he would be all over this, and he is a staunch supporter of this ordinance, and has been, and we've been working on this for quite a while, and we think that we've got an ordinance that will stand up test of time and legalities in court. We just hope other cities will follow our lead and get on the same bandwagon we're on. So, we're moving on to item number 2, public hearing on cost and placement of liens on abated property. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The properties listed below have had nuisances abated. The owners of record have been notified by certified mail and by posting on said properties in accordance with the City of Taft Municipal Code of the costs incurred during the abatement process. The owners were also notified of the time and place of this public hearing, on whereby council will hear any objections or protests from the property owner or any other interested parties. If costs of abatement as submitted or modified for the property listed here are not paid within 5 days from the date of confirmation, the confirmed statements of expense shall constitute a lien against the properties, and all such costs to be made a personal obligation against the property owner pursuant to Section 3773 of the California Government Code and Taft Municipal Code Section 3-4.5-5 C and D. Properties and the cleanup amounts are 209 Center Street for $640.11, 708 2nd Street for $6,916.85, and 716 North Street for $175.49.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jones. The recommended action is to conduct a hearing regarding statement of expense. So I'll open that hearing. Is anybody here representing these properties and wish to speak on this subject, or any other interested party? Invite you to come up. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Entertain a motion, and Mr. Epson, do we have to do each one separately, or can we include all three items?
You can
As a
go
one.
all three at once, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Where am I at? Oh, okay. I entertain a motion to confirm the statement of expense as submitted and approve resolution titled, "A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft approving and confirming the cost for the abatement of the nuisance at 209 Center Street, at 708 Second Street, and at 716 North Street."
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Bryant.
No further comment.
Ms. Hill.
No comment.
Mr. Cryer.
And no comment.
These are properties that we've had code enforcement go out to, have been working with them for quite a while, and we found that there's a health and safety or nuisance, and City of Taft stepped in to correct these nuisances, and we're putting a lien on these properties for repayment. So, Madam Clerk, will you take a roll call, please?
Yes. Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Hill?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, thank you. Next item is item 3, appointment to appoint a member to the City of Taft Planning Commission to fill an unscheduled vacancy. Mr. Jones.
Thank you. Pursuant to Section 5783.5 of the California Public Resources Code and the city's policy regarding appointments to boards and commissions, notice has been duly advertised informing those interested to submit an application for serving on the City of Taft Planning Commission. City of Taft Administrative Policies and Procedures Manual, Section 103, states that the members of the Planning Commission are appointed by the City Council, and they must remain registered voters within the city during the entire term of their appointment. Ordinance number 608 states that the appointments are for a term of 4 years. However, there is no city policy or municipal code that sets term limits. The position needed to be appointed is in an unscheduled midterm vacancy due to the resignation of Commissioner Renee Hill upon her being elected to the seat on the City Council. 2 applications were received by January 23rd deadline. The applicants were verified registered voters living with the City of Taft. I will say that one of those has moved out of the city limits, is no longer a candidate, so you only have one verified candidate at this time. Applications were received from Michael Giles and Gerald Livingston Jr. for the position. And Gerald Livingston Jr. is the valid person at this time.
Okay, we're still going to proceed. The recommended action is to have the candidate step forward and tell us something about himself and see if the council has any questions. So the candidate is Gerald Livingston Jr. And would you state your address and name, please?
Sure. I go by Jerry most of the time. Gerald sounds so darn formal. And in Taft, that's kind of a unusual thing to do, right? 903 Bell Avenue, Taft, California. See, a little bit about myself. First of all, my family has been a long-time residents of the City of Taft. My grandfather moved here in the early 1900s. He started Tasco. Some of you are old enough to remember Tasco. It was he and his brother started it in 1917. Last I looked, in the late 80s, early 90s, it was still around. I know today it's no longer in a functioning business, but proud that it's been there that long. A few other businesses, Milo's Chocolate Shop and a music shop. So I grew up here, went to school here, graduated from Taft High, moved to San Diego to go to school, where I eventually got my degree in a Bachelor of Science in Law and then a Juris Doctor in law. I practiced law as a representative of the Building Industry Association and the National Association of Office and Industrial Properties, handling land use, environmental, and regulatory law matters. Worked with and in front of almost every city council and planning commission, the county of San Diego and its planning commission, for about 15 years before I moved back to Taft.
I gave you a partial list in my application of the committees that I was involved with. One of the things I'm really proud of is that I was recommended for those positions not by political, but by staff who saw me as a collaborator who could work with them, representing the business interest and giving them some background. Part of that is because I also spent 10 years working for the County of San Diego, and so I know what it means like to be a staff person, staffing a council or a board, as much as it's as having been the person on the other side working with them. Some of the questions that were asked in the letter to me, I think the planning commissioner's job is to work collaboratively with the other members of the commission, with staff and members of the community. The goal is to achieve proper planning for this community with a forward-looking eye, but also remembering the heritage. Taft's heritage, as we all know, is oil. And so some of the things about the town should probably continue to reflect that. One of the goals I have is that significant work had been done in the 80s and 90s to develop a downtown community plan, along with some architectural renderings and designs that reflect that oil town feel, and I'd like to see us pick that back up. It was unfortunately not included with the last general plan update, and so it no longer is effective. So I think the Planning Commission has a real opportunity to go back and develop a comprehensive plan for the downtown business district. That means Kern up to Front Street, 10th to over on the other side of 119, not just Center Street. Although Center Street is, I think, an important goal. I remember growing up here, buying my clothes here, buying my shoes here, and I'd like to see, if it's not those things, then other things that can be done on Center Street that give us a local base. The other thing I think is important is that we need to look at ways to diversify our work, force here. We're obviously grateful and dependent on the oil community, but we need to find other businesses, and if there's a possibility that the Planning Commission can help in laying out plans that make it more attractive for other businesses to move here, whether it's to our commercial or industrial land to the east, or up on the rails to trails, or maybe a redevelopment of the old Pilot Plaza. Those are all areas where we have an opportunity to, I think, make the city an attractive place to house or site new businesses. I think another thing that we really need to look at is our housing stock. I know you guys struggled really hard to help Colston get the opportunity to build his project up on the north side of town, but we need to be preparing for that next phase of development, the one that comes after that. This town clearly needs housing, and I know it struggles to do it, and I think the Planning Commission has an opportunity to look at other places, maybe in conjunction with anything that comes out of the Annexation Committee, but an opportunity to lay the groundwork for future housing so that we don't have a 10-year period when we've only built 11 houses. Other than that, I think it's just a great honor and opportunity to serve the community I grew up in. I love this town. I think it's a great place to live and grow up, and I want it to continue to be that.
Okay. Does the council have any comments or questions for Mr. Livingston?
I think he will do a very good job. It happens to be a position that's very near and dear to my heart, since it's my position you'd be filling. So I hope that you will agitate the Planning Commission as much as I did.
Hey, is Mark closing his eyes behind you right now?
It's just very nice to see somebody with passion. I think that's something, not that we've lacked, but passion and energy and a vision to go forward. Someone that's got a background such as yours, as you've explained, excuse me. And then again, couple that with a vision, I think is very exciting for somebody in my position, whether I'm on the council or just as a resident. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Mr. Cryer?
Looking over your bios here, we did in San Diego, very impressive, and I hope that what you've done in San Diego, in an area there, that you can see we can help us here in Taft and make our community a better community, and working staff and everything, and with the commission. Go forward.
I think that being in San Diego gave me the opportunity to work from rural to urban. So I think I've got a wide range of experience. Thank you.
I know that emphasis has been on, Center Street quite a bit. There's more tapped at Center Street, but
Right.
I kind of like, see, I go to San Diego quite a bit, and it's a nice little town, and where I work is not that far away. I'm down in Pearl Valley, but that Lamplight District and stuff is, people walk around and in the community to make it, our goal is getting off the vehicles and stuff, environmental issues and stuff, to see our shops and the theaters, all the sites we have here in town to make it more user-friendly.
I was fortunate enough to be there from the time it was a red light district to the time it's now one of the finest downtown areas. I'm sure that the Navy gentleman remembers that.
There for 3 years, so, yeah.
They used to say that you didn't go south of Broadway after 5 o'clock and businesses shut down, and then now it's a very active and lively place, and I'd love to see that kind of a idea for us. Obviously not on that scale, but definitely.
Well, your opening statement, you said you want to be collaborative. And I think that's key for anybody, Brian, for any commission, board, or council, to be able to work with everyone and not have a specific agenda or an axe to grind, or, because there's more than one thing you'd be working on. There's lots of things that you work on, so I'm glad that you mentioned the collaborative, because that's most important, to be able to work with staff, our legal staff, and work with also, the council, because everything's going to, move up and to us to make decisions. So your folks are doing the homework. We're more than grateful for. So, is there any other questions? Then the second thing was to poll the council members as their choice from the candidate pool. Well, I want to thank you too for being in the candidate pool.
You're welcome.
I mean, I wish we had 10 people to choose from, and that would mean that we have a lot of folks out there that are very much interested and want to be a part of the community and join the rest of us in trying to make Taft a better place to live. So I want to thank you for that. Since you're the only candidate in the pool, I'll take a nomination for the candidate.
I'll nominate Jerry Livingston for the Planning Commission.
Second that motion.
This is a poll, right? So we by voice vote, or do we?
Right.
All right. Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
So that's a yes in your favor, and I vote for Jerry Livingston too.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's 4-0 vote. Mr. Livingston, thank you so much. I think you're going to assume your duties immediately. So there is some documents that you will have to sign and a note that you will have to take. Do we do that tonight, or?
I know we'll be doing that at his first meeting.
At the first meeting of the Planning Commission, you'll be sworn in.
Congratulations, Jerry.
Okay, moving on. We're moving on to item number 4, appoint a representative to the West Side Recreation and Park District Board to fill an unscheduled vacancy. Gratefully, we have 5 folks that have applied and were vetted for this appointment. Our issue tonight is we're lacking one board member or council member, and I have a conflict of interest in this with one of the members of the people who are applying, so I would have to recuse myself from the whole proceeding. So that would leave us with 3 people to vote. So I'm kind of, we're at a quandary, is if the folks that have applied can wait 2 more weeks when we have our next meeting and we do this again and have the at least four members rather than having 3 members present. I would kind of leave it up to you. We have Mr. Black, Mr. Jordan, Mr. Miller, and
Mr. Heimler.
the other person.
Roy Heimler.
Oh, yeah, Roy Heimler. Is it inconvenient for you for us to table this for 2 more weeks? Might give you an extra vote, so. No problem. Gordon? Okay, I'm sorry about the inconvenience. Again, Mr. Noor tried to be here, couldn't make it. And we'll do everything that we can do to make sure we have 4 members at the next council meeting on the 17th. So thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate
There's
it.
only one problem, on the 17th, I have another board meeting with the, down there at the cemetery district.
Is that the night of our next meeting, 17th?
What time is your meeting?
7 o'clock.
Well, we'll be meeting at 6 here, so hopefully you can be able to attend that meeting. We'll put it on, first thing on the agenda.
Thank you.
Okay? Well, thank you very much. We're sorry about that, and we're going to move on to item number 5. Citizen request for public comments. This is a time and place for the general public to address the city council. Oh, by the way, I have to make,
Yeah, we need a vote to table that to the next.
yeah, I need a vote to table. I can't be a dictator here, so.
So the motion, if someone is to make it, will be to postpone item number 4 to appoint a representative to the West Side Recreation and Park District Board to fill an unscheduled vacancy, to postpone that matter until the February 17, 2015 City Council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
And they'll second it.
Okay, Madam Clerk, will you pull the board?
Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Hill?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, okay, thank you. And again, thank you to the folks that applied. We're sure sorry. Okay, next item is a citizen request for public comments. This is a time and place for the general public to address the city council on matters within its jurisdiction. State law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. Council may receive comment and set the matter for a subsequent meeting. Please limit comments to 5 minutes. I noticed that we have 2 members of our local chamber, No, I don't have her name yet. I noticed that we have the 2 ladies from the chamber here, and they always speak when they're here, so they didn't get their name in, but I'm going to allow it for the chamber representative. Ms. Oren, you going to?
Save.
Dr. Oren?
Saved your spot right at the top of the list.
Thank you, Mayor Miller. I appreciate that. I was late, and I was at another meeting, so I apologize. I also apologize for the soda, but if I start coughing, you'll be glad I have it here. So,
You don't have measles, though.
I do not have measles
Thank
because
you.
I'm too poor to go to Disneyland.
That's saying something.
I just want to say hello, council persons. I have to learn that. I just learned that from the chief. I want to make sure that everyone knows about the chamber installation and award celebration that's coming up Thursday at the Fox Theater. And make sure that everybody knows they are most welcome to attend. We are going to be honoring the Businessman of the Year, Charles Landwehr from Erickson and Brown Funeral Home. Businesswoman of the Year, Nikki Schertz from Asian Experience. Business of the Year, GPS. Volunteer of the Year, Michael McCormick. A Community Service Award goes to Dr. Tang. And a Humanitarian Award was designed for this year, and that will go to Dr. Washington. We'll also say goodbye to 2 board members that have been with us a long time, and they've both been former presidents of the Chamber Board. That's Michael Long and Bob Lycum. They've served the Chamber well, and we'll be giving them a send-off. We'll be installing new officers. Manny Campos will be the new president of the board of the Chamber. Ron Souza and Jordan Miller will be installed as first and second vice presidents. And, of course, Bart Hill from United Security Bank will continue as treasurer. I get to continue as secretary. I'm so excited. Anyway, this year is, again, at the Fox Theater, it'll be a casino night. And our supervisor, David Couch, will be bringing us what he says promises to be a very short and sweet message. So, again, we're all invited. I want to take an opportunity to let you know that Kiwanis, as our local Kiwanis Club, has celebrated its 90th birthday as a service club here in Taft. And of course, we all know that Kiwanis is the best service club in our community, and then we'll be moving right along so that Doug doesn't drop something here. Also, it is time for, this year is the 100th birthday of Kiwanis International. So I was just wondering if the council could find it in their hearts to do a little proclamation for us, because it's kind of a big deal to we Kiwanians. So I'd just like to kind of make that suggestion. So we thank you for the time to get to share with you, and we hope we see you on Thursday night.
If you would get the president of the Kiwanis Club to forward information we'll put on it, that staff can make a proclamation. So we'd be glad to do it, but we need some information, so.
We're all over it. Thank
Okay.
you very much. Appreciate
Get
it.
that to Ms. Mayfield, and she'll take care of that for you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. We have, second person on the list is Tony Cordova with Synagro. And he... You gonna do all the talking?
Yeah,
Okay. Will you state your name and your address, please?
I'll try to make it short and sweet. Yes, my name is Tony Cordova with Synagro Technologies, South Kern Industrial Center. The reason why I'm here is on two different things. What I wanted to do is I wanted to express to the board, good evening board members, by the way. I wanted to express to the board and let you guys know a little bit about the processes that we're going to be looking to get some, not a buy-in, but feedback and approval from the council members themselves, and give you a little bit of information of what we're doing, and then also request to be put on the agenda for the next meeting, and request a letter of recommendation prior to us going to Kern County Health Department and Planning Department. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead, and with me I've got two letters from one from the District Chamber of Commerce, Taft City Chamber of Commerce, then also another one from Orchel Cryer as a businessman and representative of Taft and Taft citizens and community. So a little bit about what we're doing here at the facility is recently the Synagro, we've embarked on a little bit of an exploration process. I've been employed at Synagro for almost 2 years now, and one of my main goals there was to improve the processes, increase our profitability, be engaged with the community, and at the same time, lower our footprint from an emission perspective. Become more greener, right? Be more friendly to the environment. So part of that process that we've come up with is identification for changing our process. And changing our process means we're going to be going from a negative process to a positive aeration process, again, while maintaining or bettering our emission factors. So we embarked on that exploration of the modification, and what we've come up with is that positive aeration processing has been able to reduce the amount of emissions that we actually emit into the environment. Now, the numbers are numbers, and we could go back and show you data of all that if you're really interested into that aspect of it. But the goal that we actually put out there is to lower our VOC emissions with a new biofilter layer of compost will provide a greater surface area. With the reduction of diesel combustion engines, we don't have to move the materials much, so the amount of heavy equipment that we got out there is going to be reduced, and thus reducing the nitrous oxide, or better known as NOx, particulate matter and greenhouse gases into the environment. And then the big thing that we're going to be doing is also reducing our footprint on the electrical grid. As we all know, California is pretty complex with the electrical consumption, where we actually are a gross consumer out there as well. So the new process will reduce the electricity by at least 50% of consumption, and then we're also going to be installing VFD controllers for all of our control equipment. The last one, and not to say the least of all of them, is to reduce our operating costs. Part of our process of a business is to be able to continue with our sustainability and our longevity of the organization itself. In doing that, we always have to be able to be aware of our costs and operating costs and be more competitive. So by doing this, we're going to be reducing our operating costs, which will allow us to be more competitive with some of our competition out there and continue our long-term contracts that we have with the generators that we currently bring in right now. So with that being said, I'm just here to make sure you guys are aware We're looking to get a buy-in for the CUP amendments. We're looking to make some modifications to our CUP amendments, which will help us streamline our processing. We're going to be looking at the negative to positive aeration process. We're also going to be looking at increasing our storage capacity for finished compost and material, because what that does, it allows us to be able to be in the marketplace a little bit more, and at the same time, we're going to be looking at the pile height of our processes. With that being said, that's it in a nutshell. I hope I stayed within 5 minutes.
Okay, Councilman Hill, do you have any comments or questions? Right.
Yeah, I just have one question, and maybe for the edification of everybody here. Can you give us an idea of specifically where your plant's located?
The facility is located at 2653 Santiago Road, which is east of Taft, a little bit, about 12 miles east, out on South Lake Hill, or South Lake Road and Hill, where they combine area.
Thank you.
Mr. Cryer?
Yes, I'd like to say that Cinco has been a big help to a lot of organizations in Taft, for Chamber of Commerce, Community Garden, the Petroleum Club. I believe the Alpha House also you've helped out.
We do. I actually sit on the Chamber of Commerce. I'm a director on the Chamber of Commerce. I also sit on the Taft College Foundation. I also teach at the college as well as an adjunct professor out there. So I'm involved in that aspect of it. We do charitable donations to Westside Rec. We do charitable donations to the Taft Community Gardens College. We've helped out the Thrift and Unity Foundation with the animal spay and neuter program. We've done a lot of various little activities within the facility.
How long have you been out there?
I've been out there for almost 2 years. Senegal's, we started out there in 2007.
Okay.
But, they've been very good, to TAF, and been a good partnership, working with them and working with us and everything. And I believe you're requesting a letter of recommendation from us to present to
Supervisors.
the supervisors by the 17th.
Yes, sir.
So we needed to put on an agenda today so that you can get the letter by the next council meeting.
Correct.
If we approve it.
I think from a timing perspective, it'll be a couple hours too late from the next council meeting. I have a meeting set up with Supervisor Couch and his team in regards to get the Kern County buy-in and support with the planning department and the environmental health. It goes a lot further with the support of the community at the same time. It just means a lot more for us.
Well, I'll say, the reason I want to know how long Sailor Grove's been out there, your support of this community has been from day one. And you've been a partner in the city of Taft. It's not like you're bribing us, but you've been a very good partner with the city of Taft and helped a lot of different organizations with your monetary donations and product donations and your staff time.
Yep.
So, you've been a good partner. I wish you were in the city limits. We were trying at one time, but we've had to back off of that. But you've been a real good partner, and I agree with Mr. Cryer that we should support you and your efforts. You want to expand the plant, use less electricity, provide more product, cut your costs and cut emissions. So I don't see any downside to any of that. How many employees you have out there currently?
Currently, we have 28 staffed employees. Part of that is also, our development team is looking at future growth and development as well.
Sure. So, Mr. Cryer, if you have you want to have something, I don't know, the only way, you're not on the agenda tonight, so we can't vote on anything tonight. The only way we could do something, construct a letter, then how can we do this?
You can be prepared for the next meeting once you
An agenda.
vote it in.
But the 17th, is that when the supervisors are meeting?
Yes, sir.
And we meet at 6 and they
o'clock,
meet
yeah.
at...
My meeting's at 10 in downtown Kern
Well, the only
County.
other way we could do that is to call a special meeting. So, I would concur with Councilman Cryer that this is important to show our support. For Senator, you showed your support of this community, and continue to do so. Councilman Hill?
Whichever we need to do, I think we should show support, yes.
I would agree with that. I would just like to see what we're supporting, just a copy of the
So, yeah,
the
what I
proposed
do
CUP
have- what I
amendment.
do have present is both those letters. I could submit them and turn them over to you guys right now.
I would appreciate
Or
that.
I can email them to you electronically.
Well,
and you have them.
we need some information,
If you can get it to the city clerk, she can get it to you guys.
yeah,
Okay.
I just thought the phone with David Couch. I'm sorry.
okay. Okay, Ms. Jones, you want to come up to the mic, please?
I had just spoken with David Couch before I came here, and he's, our 4th District Supervisor, and he informed me that they actually are dark on the 17th. They are having their meeting on the 10th, which is next Tuesday, so I'm not sure if this is something that could go to the following meeting, their first meeting in March. Because
Be more convenient if it was.
Well, he just told me that on the way here. It wasn't in regards to this at all. It was about a different issue that he's going to be addressing at Sit and Sip tomorrow, actually. But he informed me that they're dark on the 17th and they're meeting on the 10th instead.
Mr. Cordova, do you think that they would shove it up to the 10th to act on?
The meeting? Yeah. it's just-
For your proposal?
I wouldn't see any reason why not to.
No, you're going to be on the supervisors, we're going to be on the supervisors' agenda on the 17th.
I think it was a little bit
Would they
informal.
move it up, or you think they'd move it back?
I think our meeting was a little bit more of an informal meeting with Supervisor Couch. I don't think it was on the agenda.
So they're not voting on the CUP that night. It's something you're trying to garner his support.
Correct.
When they do vote on it.
Correct. Yes, sir.
So it may not be imperative we have a special meeting.
Okay. We could prepare the document. We can't tell you how we're going to vote, because it's up to each
That's fine.
individual council members, but you got a 4-0 support tonight, so.
As long as the verbal
Put it
support
on
is
our
there.
agenda, so
Right.
that might be a tell,
Okay.
all right?
So yeah,
We just need information to put in our proposal to the county.
okay.
So if you'll work with Mrs. Mayfield, then we can get that done.
Can I leave this off at the clerk's office, or would you like it right now? Okay.
Yes, it will come to great support.
Okay, well, it took a little more than 5 minutes. Okay, we're moving on then to item number 6, council statements, non-action. Mr. Cryer.
I would like to put a letter of support for Senator Grow. For next,
You want to do what?
to make a motion or to have.
We've already given staff direction to put it on by a 4-0 vote for it.
Do we have to vote for it, or put it on the agenda, or no?
Direction can just be given to staff to add to the next agenda.
That will take place at 11.
Yep. I'm fine.
Okay. Ms. Hill?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to comment a little bit about the Downtown Merchants Association. We had a meeting on the 22nd of January. Thank Councilman Bryan for coming in. I know that the Kiwanis took precedent over the mayor coming, but I know you would have been there. And of course, Mr. Jones would have been there, but the Kiwanis took precedent. Thank you, Dr. Oren, for coming, even though I know the Kiwanis was a very important.
Gee whiz.
I know. But thank the chief for coming down. He talked to the merchants about Proposition 47 and how that truly affects all the merchants. There was a little bit of controversy after the fact that the Downtown Business Association was abdicating the throne of the Chamber of Commerce, which they are not. And then I had several people come in and say, I understand that there's a new Downtown Business Association. Well, I didn't realize we weren't part of the old one. But nothing's changed there. We just are trying to get a little bit more active. And what's basically happening at the downtown business level is by having their own little branch, which is still very firmly underneath the umbrella of the Chamber of Commerce, we are able to have fundraisers where they can raise money to do things for for the downtown. And the downtown isn't just Center Street, it's a little bit wider than that. It's Main Street, North Street, Kern Street, of course. And the idea is to get together and truly build meeting, which is on the fourth Thursday of every month. So, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hill. Mr. Bryant.
Couple things, since Kathy, you mentioned and I was personally benefited from it, and I'm sure there are many of us here also benefited from it, so thank you guys for all your service, and look forward to another 90 years. In regard to Synagro, I know that one of the donations I was involved with a couple years ago, I think it was 2009, the batting cages that sit out at the Little League complex. I received a check for $35,000 from Synagro that ultimately built those. Personally very thankful for that. I think it's an asset that will pay off for the community for many years to come. As Councilwoman Hill mentioned, the Downtown Business Association, that meeting was very nice. It's nice to see those people engaged and becoming more unified, to have that sort of voice. I think that's all part of the vision of the city going forward. And I think it's very important that those people are engaged and active. Otherwise, apathy rules the roost, and nobody goes anywhere when everybody's sitting around hoping somebody else will do it. But speaking of the Planning Commission, and part of that, along with the social and economic development, is going to be recreation. And anybody that's lived here for any amount of time, especially over the last couple of years, seen a lot of development specifically on behalf of the West Side Recreation and Parks District. Personally, I would like to extend my kudos to Don Koenig, Les Clark III, their board, for all the investment they've made. The Little League complex just out here on Cedar Street, they voted and are in the process of putting more than $250,000 into that facility. And if you haven't been out there, I really, really, really encourage you to check that out. Beautiful. I envy those kids that get to play on that, because I never got to play on something that was that nice, despite all the efforts of the folks that were there. Fortunately, I'll probably be able to coach down there, and it's nice. But there's a tournament being held this weekend by the Taft Longhorns. I believe there's 30-plus teams from all over the county, Wasco, Arvin, Delano. I encourage you guys to go out and take in a baseball game. Specifically Friday night, our hometown Longhorns take on the city of Wasco in a heated rivalry. And I look forward to having a soda and some nachos and watching Taft beat Wasco that night. Correct me if I'm wrong, but do we have cruise night this weekend, Kathy? I want to remind everybody, encourage everybody to come out and visit the downtown. It's very important that we walk the streets down there, show support for our local merchants, and be part of the vitality of what Taft is now and what it can be going forward. That's a very integral part to get ahead of the game and shop local. Support those people. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Well, thank you. That was great. I would like to say, again, Synagro has been a great partner with the city of Taft, and they didn't have to be. And so I'm always appreciative that you look, instead of looking north, you look west, and you've been a very good partner with this community. And again, kudos to you. Thank you so much. I've got a little negative thing that I want to get off my chest tonight. If you walk the rails to trails, especially our new portion of the trail that goes from Hilliard Street out to Sandy Creek, well, it may not be the greenest and prettiest part of the trail. It doesn't mean that we don't appreciate what we have out there. But the motorcyclists and the four-wheel drivers and the four-wheel buggy, what do you call those? The rhinos and whatevers, they are putting deep ruts, and they're crossing our rails, your rails, to trails, and leaving dirt and dust, and eventually they're going to start breaking off edges of the trail by just being jerks. I mean, that's all I can say, is they're just being unappreciative of what the city of Taft is trying to provide for the rest of the community. There is no reason for them to cross our rails to trails. And we, staff here, works diligently to try to maintain and keep that clean and nice out there. But you got these folks crossing the trail. I don't know, tonight, I live right off the trail between Hilliard and Church Street. When I was driving out, here's a guy come up the alley on the opposite side. He saw my truck coming, so he just went over and got on the trail on his motorcycle, dirt bike, and drove by, and I gave him he didn't even look at me, and he hightailed it up the trail on a motorcycle. It's heavily used by people. That's just arrogance. I mean, that's just not caring about the community you live in. And these aren't criminals. These are probably good, hardworking, decent people and young people that enjoy a great community. And they're very fortunate that they can go out into the fields out here on private property and ride their motorcycle. None of the property that they ride out there is owned by the city of Taft or it's public domain. It's all private property out there. So we're just very fortunate, and to go out there and debase our trail, I don't know what we can do, but I would like to see, I don't know if we have an ordinance or what we can do to, you can't get caught on a motorcycle or a motor vehicle on the trail, whether you're going lengthways on it or crossing over it, that we can have our police department give them a ticket and make it hurt, because they're only hurting this community. Mr. Jones?
I was just going to say that I believe the chief can verify there are current laws that prohibit anyone from tearing up a public park or something like that. It does have severe fines. The staff was also looking at some alternative measures for temporary fencing to put up in the area of the new trail that goes to A Street, also along one side of that trail that would prevent the crossing of off-road vehicles until the housing track picks up on that side. So, of course, we wouldn't want to invest a lot of money into permanent fencing, but there's temporary fencing options that should take care of the issue that we're looking at.
You know, and why should we have to do that? We're a small town, a caring community, and we've just got some real jerks out there riding motorcycle. I ride motorcycle, but, you know, I live here, I don't reside here, and these folks reside here, and they don't care about this community at all. So I don't know what time that this activity is happening out there, but hopefully maybe the chief can talk to his officers, do a little more, you know, cruising up Hilliard Street or something, and keep an eye out there and see who's doing that, because you know, I feel if we catch one, we fine them for all the cleanup costs, because we assume that they've done it a million times out there. So we need to make some examples of some of these folks, because they're going to continue to do it. And it's a shame that it's young people, if they're doing it, that the parents are just turning them loose with motorcycles or crossing streets illegally. They probably don't have licenses. They don't have licenses probably on those motorbikes, and they're just tearing up our community. So anyway, I got that off my chest. So on the flip side, from the rails to trail and Hilliard south to the A Street Park is coming along quite nicely. We've planted, I would guess,
30 trees, I think.
30 some. What were the Chinese elm?
They're actually called a drake, but they are a species of the elms.
A species of the elm, and they call it drape, and they're going to get quite tall, and they're going to drape out over, hopefully, over the trail, and probably provide some shading. So, are we having lighting put in up there?
No, the budget was cut because of, you know, it seems like every time we have a project, something gets cut. But
yeah. So
hopefully
when we can, possibly we'll be able to put some solar lighting along the trail like we have going out the west. So it's your community. You got to take care of it. If you see these folks out there doing that, call 911. You know, our police officers can't be everywhere at once, and they don't know when those guys are out there tearing up our community. And many of them probably come out of Taft Heights, so they live in the county. I don't see where they can come down and tear up our stuff. We're not going up there. So anyway, thank you so much. We're moving on to item number 7, Planning Commission report. I see we have Ms. Jones. Will you state your name and your address, please?
Shannon Jones, 105 Woodlawn Avenue.
Shannon, you want to bring the mic down a bit?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
At our last planning commission meeting, we had an appointment for the traffic committee, and we went over all of the committees that affect both the city council as well as the planning commission. and I was unanimously selected to serve on the traffic committee, so.
Were you late to the
Yay.
meeting or what?
No, I have 3 guys on the committee and me, so that's why I'm here too. And then we are continuing to work on the general plan amendment, including the housing element update. It was started in 2014 from KernCog, and it's basically Mark Staples, our planning director, has done a lot of work getting that updated, and each meeting we will be addressing it throughout the year as it needs to be completed by the end of 2015. So, and that's the regional housing needs assessment for our community, which is, it's an 8-year, it's a plan that will encompass an 8-year period for us. It'll take us until 2023. And that's it.
Really?
That was-
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's important stuff, kind of boring stuff, but it's stuff that we have to do, and appreciate you, Ms. Jones, and the rest of the planning commission for all your work. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and we appreciate all the work that Mark has put into this and continues to keep us updated as well.
Thank
So,
you.
Thank you.
Item number 7, department reports. Let's see. Chief Whiting making his way. He has a presentation tonight that I had asked him to speak about.
He's getting ready to make the statement.
Oh, yeah, we might make note that Councilman Knorr has arrived and is in the house. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I apologize to yourself, the council, and everybody out there. My other responsibilities just messed my schedule up.
Working man's got to do what a working man's got to do.
We're setting up I think a slideshow here. Figure out which button to put. Oh, yeah. While you're here, Councilman Knorr, we passed the ordinance on the bath salts by 4-0. Wish you were here to champion that, but if you'd like to make a council statement, you're more than welcome to.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't mind if I do. I had nothing but confidence that this council would pass that on a 4-0 vote. I want to thank the city manager as well as the city attorney for putting that together. I spoke with the mayor. I was contacted regarding an interview with the news, and I'm sorry I wasn't able to make that, but I left it in his very capable hands. I just want everybody out there to know that this stuff is poison. Bath salts are poison. Those who would say that we are encroaching on somebody's ability to make a living and sell these things, I would hardly disagree with you. Anybody who would make money selling that garbage to children, or to anybody for that matter, is of a very questionable, if not non-existent, moral and ethical character. Stuff doesn't belong in our community. So anything that we as a council can do to keep it out of the hands of the kids and to encourage anybody and everybody who does business within our city to not let that stuff enter their stores is the right idea. I know several people that own businesses that never have and never would, no matter how much money they made on that stuff, sell it. And I believe in the character of those people, and that's one of the great things about a small city like the city of Taft, is they are not the exception to the rule. So anyway, I want to thank the council for considering this, and look forward to it being passed. And also, Chief's up now. I want to recognize the chief and his fantastic staff for having worked very hard to keep that crap out of our community, and they were very successful in getting a whole bunch of it off the street. So thank you very much, Chief, and thank the rest of your team for that. And we as a team are going to do everything we can to make it easier for you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you. Chief Whiting.
Mr. Mayor, city council persons, as you know, I was asked tonight to talk a little bit about Prop 47. Some of this I shared with the Downtown Business Association group on the 22nd, and I've since added today just a very small amount to this. Prop 47, as you know, changed a lot of felonies into misdemeanors. Not just dealing with drug crimes, but also property related crimes, stolen property, forgeries, check frauds, guns, any number of things that are under $950. On the drug aspect of it, most of the drugs that were originally felonies, such as heroin, PCP, cocaine, methamphetamine, mushrooms, all now simple possession or personal use is a misdemeanor, and we have to cite release for that. So we're not quite sure how those numbers are going to work out, and we're not quite sure what the trends are going to be. There's not enough data yet to support that, but I did bring some interesting numbers for you tonight. Going from November 4th of 2013 to November 4th of 2014, when the law was passed, these are numbers that are already gathered by us for total calls for service and incidents in the city of Taft. So during that time period, we had a total number of 9,332 incidents. Of those, calls for service were 4,393, but officer initiated was 4,939, which means typically our officers catch more than is actually called in. So our officers are very proactive. Go ahead. On the arrest side of it, we had 526 misdemeanor arrests, 192 felony arrests, total of all arrests about 718 arrests during that 1-year time period. And next, citations. Infraction citations, 165, but misdemeanor citations, 305. Now this is a little bit significant only in that a lot of those citations for misdemeanors were warrants where we were required by the judges to cite release them to make an appearance rather than take them all the way over to Lamont Court. Next one. What to expect? No, there's not going to be rampant on the streets, but it'll feel that way. Next. Post Prop 47 during that same time period, if we add those Prop 47 to the 2013-2014 data we now know is there, you're going to look at 63 drug possession crimes are now stricken down to misdemeanors, 5 stolen property crimes, 17 grand thefts, 44 check fraud, forgery, credit card type crimes, 29 burglaries, which are represented as shopliftings, for the total reduction of 158 felonies that are reduced now to misdemeanors. Next slide. That means we now, if those numbers stay the same from 2014 to 2015 during the same time period, those number of arrests stay the same, we're looking at 684 misdemeanor arrests with only 34 felony arrests and 463 misdemeanor citations, if those numbers remain the same. And the next slide. In the last 3 months, 143 total arrests from 2013-2014. Now this is from November 4th until today. We're just 1 day shy of a full quarter, so that's why I added the numbers today. For this quarter, though, it's 184 arrests, so we've seen an increase in actual arrests for the same time period last year. On the misdemeanor side, 50 misdemeanor citations from 2014, I'm sorry, that should be 2013 to 2014. 88 misdemeanors from 2014 to 2015, so we've seen an increase in misdemeanor citations, which is what we expected to see during this quarter. Felonies, though, stayed the same from 39 to 40, so they stayed relatively same. I don't know what to attribute that to yet, except for that we had additional arrests in the same quarter, and they may be all felonies, and I'm not sure how many of those, without looking at all the raw data to see how many of those will actually be converted to misdemeanors. But right now, they're staying the same. Next. And that's it. That's the numbers that we have to share with you. There's no hard data yet how this is going to affect our city. We don't know what the trends will be, whether this is going to stay or whether the suspects we're arresting over and over are going to continue to do the same crimes, or whether they're going to commit more serious crimes. We don't know how that data is going to apply yet. We'll look at the data again come November, and I'll be able to give you a full year spread, and we'll see if those numbers remain consistent like they did from the 2013 to the 2014 time period, to see if they stay pretty close or do they change. I can tell you over the last 4 to 5 years, we've experienced since AB 109 and some of the other propositions that our simple assaults have consistently come down, whereas our aggravated assaults have slowly risen. So we're not sure why that is. Even though the rest of the nation is enjoying a lower violent crime rate, we're actually starting to climb here, and we don't know why that is. But that's the numbers we have to share with you folks tonight. Any questions that I can answer for you?
Well, I've that feels like an undercurrent, that there's a lot more property crimes, and a lot of that is not in the city. It's in the metropolitan unincorporated areas, but
This is all in the city.
that's just city stats.
That's
That
city
had
stats.
nothing to do with
That's simply in the
what's
city of
going
Taft.
out around us, so,
That is correct.
yeah.
And the sheriff, I can't say for sure with any real certainty, but I suspect he's seeing some of the same trends in his stats for the west side. Thefts are still out there. We're still telling people, don't leave items in your cars there. It is going to get stolen. Even if it's a lowly blanket, a shirt, pair of shoes, if you have any value in it, do not leave it in your car. It will get stolen. And they are out there. And if we catch them, the most we can do is sight release them. If you catch them and hold them for us, we can't even arrest them. We would have to send it to the DA for a complaint. Remember, misdemeanor crimes have to be committed in our presence. So if we catch you with some drugs, that's easy. If you've committed a theft and someone catches you, we didn't see it, we can't arrest you for it. The most we can do is send it to the DA for a complaint. Felonies not committed in our presence, we can make an arrest for. Nowadays, under Prop 47, that's going to make our job just a little bit harder to actually make an arrest in the field. But I believe those numbers are going to be fairly close from 2013-14 to 14-15.
Right, you have a comment?
Yeah, I did. Mark, if you wouldn't mind going back to the second to last slide, look at the stats on arrests. Chief, you see the 40 over the same time in the previous year?
Yes.
You think that's a fact, or a product of AB 109 prison realignment and the push down to the county jails and then the subsequent early release of people who may not have been released early before that?
I think it's too early to actually say 109's taken a huge part in this just yet. I know that a combination of this was to release people who were not considered to be a violent threat to our society, and I think earnestly they wanted to get those people counseling, especially in the drug area and the theft area. They know they go hand in hand. They're not stealing this money to go out and buy milk for their kids. They're doing it to buy dough. I can't really say that yet, but I can tell you that when I looked at the data a couple of years ago for maybe 109, there were some significant trends that we saw because of that.
How's the county jail? Lerdo, is it still brimming full, or is they have a reduction over there?
I only know what I saw in the paper. I haven't talked to the sheriff about it, but I believe the numbers do speak for themselves, and that is they're seeing a reduction in misdemeanor population and felony population because of Prop 47. So those people that could be out are actually out, which leaves room for the ones who are there for a longer sentence, which means instead of kicking them out after 10%, you can kick them out after, say, 20% of their time. So the sheriff is actually holding those people that he can actually hold for longer sentences. That's the good side of that. The bad side, of course, is that some people are not spending hardly any time in jail whatsoever because it's harder to get them there.
I was going to ask about that. Are criminals whining about the fact that they can't get over to Lamont to get their arraignment or whatever, and how is that working out?
You know, Kern County Regional Transit and a number of other places will help you get to Lamont Court if you need to, but they're not availing themselves of that. So one of the trends that I haven't checked on, but what I suspect is going to happen is we're going to start seeing a lot more warrant arrests because of failures to appear. And in most cases, because they're misdemeanors, we're going to have to sight release them. And we'll do that over and over for as many as 4 or 5 times until the judges get sick and tired of doing that. And then they'll issue a no bail warrant, and then we'll take them on that. So it's going to be just a little bit harder to get the people who fail to appear to court, but eventually they'll get there. It's just going to cause more work for us on the law enforcement side to get them there.
Do you have any other questions, Ms. Hill? Bernard?
You know, when the cockroaches know that they can get away with what they do, they will do it more often. It's as simple as that. And you look around what's going on in the state, and I will be very vocal about this, the fact that the Democratic majority is pretty sure that they're going to be able to legalize marijuana and tax it, and that's one of their great answers to our financial problems. I think it's a lousy idea. We get more and more and more permissive every day. And beyond that, then there are government programs for no matter what you did, as long as you act irresponsibly or you break the law to get there and you turn out to be in company of large enough numbers, then guess what? You have voters' powers, and we put together some kind of government program for you if you were irresponsible, where it's financially irresponsible, or you enter this country illegally and you stay here. And what we continue to see is more and more permissive legislation and laws. And next thing you know, we're inundated with and expected to live with nuisance crimes, if you will. Well, that attitude breeds nothing but more and more non-compliance. It's not a good trend. It's not a good trend at all. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Cryer? Well, my only real concern, I thank you very much, Chief, for putting this together and presenting it tonight, but my concern is if, as property crimes increase, especially on residences, that the perpetrators are coming onto the property and there may be a confrontation. And that is never going to be a good thing. So all we can do is, lock our homes, watch our neighborhoods, watch your neighbors, watch you, speak up, call the police, and we try to get these guys put away or shoo them out of town or throw them in jail or do something with them. But I just don't want us to read about confrontations, and that's what
Mr. Mayor, as I told the Downtown Business Association, it can't be about catching bad guys anymore. It's going to have to be about prevention.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that's going to stop this. Right now, we're good at what we do. We can catch bad guys all day long. We're very good at it. It's getting them to stay where they belong that's the problem. So since we can't do that, the only real thing you can do now is prevent the crime if you can. Make it as hard as you can for them to get what it is they're after. Keep those doors locked, keep those cars locked, keep the property out of those cars, keep your stuff safe. Let your neighbors know if you're going on vacation. Don't do it on Facebook. Call us if you want a vacation check at the police department. We're glad to come by and check your doors and windows. All those things in conjunction just make it a little bit harder for them to make you a victim, and they'll move on to someone else who hasn't done those things. So I encourage everybody that's listening to do those things. Call us, let us know if you see anybody suspicious. Keep your stuff locked up. If you want vacation, tell your neighbor to report anything suspicious. And do the same for them. Be a good neighbor. Watch their place when they're gone. Call us if you see anything suspicious, and then let us do our job. Be a good witness. Don't confront anybody. You pay us a lot of money to go do that. That's exactly what we want to do for you. So call us and we'll be there as fast as we can.
Thank you again, Chief.
Thank you.
Do we have any other department reports? Mr. Staple.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Mark Staples, Planning Director for the City of Taft. I have less of a report and more of an introduction. This is Brenda Johns. She's the new office assistant for the Planning Department. We've had an empty seat there for a month or two, so we've gotten it filled. So if anyone needs to get a hold of the Planning Department, you have an additional person if you can't get a hold of me. Brenda's at extension 33 and I'm at 24. We welcome any and all calls of any questions people have regarding their properties and businesses. But I wanted to introduce Brenda tonight.
Well, thank you. You want to say anything, Brenda? Yeah, maybe a little something about yourself, or?
Well, I'm Brenda Johns, and came here. Today's my third day, I think.
Oh, really?
Second day. Nervous, but I'm
throw you right on TV.
Yeah,
welcome.
So I'm learning a lot from Mark, and then I look forward to working with all of you, and just give me a call. Like Mark said, extension 33. You guys need anything?
Well, welcome to the City of Taft and
Thank you.
And the city of Taft and the community of Taft. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Well, congratulations and good
Once
luck.
we get her trained up, you'll see her on a regular basis being the clerk for the Planning Commission.
Great, thank you. Okay, item number 9, city manager statements.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no statements tonight.
Okay, now item number 10, city attorney statements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No statement.
All right. Item number 11, future agenda requests. Any councilman? Any future agenda requests besides the one Mr. Norris we're working on for Senegro? So that's.
Do you have one for the Kiwanis?
Oh, yes.
Proclamation.
Yeah, we'd like to get a proclamation together. I've talked to the president of the Kiwanis Club and told him to either email me or get hold of Ms. Mayfield, and so we could put something together. We can't make it up ourselves, so I would like concurrence on that if I could.
I concur with that.
Okay, Mr. Bryant concurs.
Even though we do know a member that's been there for a while.
We also have four other service clubs in Taft that do a tremendous job, and hopefully they'll have their time in the limelight as the year goes along, and we'll get proclamations for them too. Okay, we're moving on to the consent calendar, items 12 through 22. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the city council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the public would like to comment on? Okay, seeing none, we're moving on. Item number 12, minutes, January 20th, 2015, regular meeting. Item 13, payment of bills. Item 14, proposal for economic development services from HDL. That was the folks that were here at the last council meeting that made a presentation to us. Item 15, revisions of mutual assistance agreement with Taft Correctional Institution between Taft and Taft Police Department. Item 16, emergency purchase of a server room air conditioning unit for the Taft Police Department. Item 17, Prax Air requesting refund on business license fees from January 2014. Item 18, employee facial hair for Oil Dorado celebration. Now, if anybody's noticed, I've got a month in, so this is the best I can do, but we are now going to, if this passes tonight, allow our police officers and other staff members to grow facial hair as long as it's in the safe. And they can have facial hair through October 31st of this year because of Oil Dorado. And this is a policy that is this for future? I mean, or is this just a one-time thing?
No, I believe it's intended to be a policy for every 5 years during Oil Dorado
Okay,
period.
right, so we don't have to address this every time. Item 19, a resolution declaring the city's official intent to reimburse certain capital expenditures for the wastewater treatment plant project. There's headworks, solar screening, biolac aeration systems, pond refurbishing, standby generator, and other items that need to be, we're doing a maintenance, overall maintenance, and spending quite a bit of money out there to get the wastewater treatment plant for the city of Taft and the Taft Heights Ford City Sanitation District. Item 20, AB 1234 ethics training class that we will be having. Have we set a date on that yet?
Yes.
Okay. Update solids removal at the Taft Municipal Wastewater Treatment Plant. It gets full out there sometimes, and we have to remove the byproducts. So, item 22, West Side Little League Parade and opening ceremony for March 21st, 2015. The waiver of fees. So, does any council member wish to remove any item from the agenda consent calendar?
Mr. Mayor, at the last meeting, January 20th, I missed the open session and was able to get here for the closed session, so I would have to excuse myself from that.
I need to pull items, or I'd like to pull items number 14 and 22, please.
14 and 22? Any others? Michelle?
No.
Right. Okay, so we will be voting on an entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar items 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21.
Motion.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. Madam Clerk, will you pull the board, please?
Yes. Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Hill?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Noor abstains.
No, only
On the minutes.
Only on the minutes?
On the other items, yes.
On item 12. for Mr. North. All other items he votes. Okay, now we go back to item 14, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. As presented at the January 20th council meeting, the city of Taft has been offered the opportunity to participate in a pilot program with HDL for economic development services. These services would include business attraction for new restaurant retailers, healthcare facilities, and development of manufacturing businesses and revitalization of the downtown area. City of Taft currently contracts with HDL for property tax services, and as an extension of the services outlined in the contract, HDL is offering to provide the program at a discounted rate for a term of 3 months. Monthly fees for those services would be $3,325. Total cost not to exceed $9,975, which represents a saving of $8,750 for their services.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the proposal from HDL in the amount of $9,975 for a 3-month period and authorize the mayor to execute the proposal.
Motion.
A motion. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Mr. Bryant.
I just think it's very important as a council that we support these times when we can't afford it as a city and as a taxpayer base to invest in these types of explorations of what options are available to us as a city, economically, development-wise, socially, to help us grow or at least to expand upon what we can offer to our citizens. I very, very much support this.
All right. Ms. Hill?
I have nothing.
Mr. North?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe it's something we need to explore, and the cost for the 3 months trial period seems to be reasonable enough, so I would support it as well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Pryor?
Can't beat the cost, it's very reasonable, if you want to charge us for, so, I think I'm looking forward to approving it.
Well, one of the major things about economic development is roofs. We also need roofs to expand the services, expand our retail base and our economic base. So if this HDL proposal can help us to get the retail things that we're looking for in the city of Taft, while we're trying to add roofs to the community, this is a good deal. So we're taking a chance to see what this gentleman says that they can do, and we hope that we'll be very successful with it. And so, Madam Clerk, we'll entertain a roll call, please.
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Noor?
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Hill?
Yes.
And Mayor Miller?
Yes. We move on to item 22, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. I believe Councilman Bryant will have to excuse himself. He is on the,
Oh, he's on the,
he's a Little League president.
oh!
He's part organizer of this.
Jason, we need to come back for, as soon as we're done.
We'll come find you.
It's funny how we have different roles in the community. There you go. Okay, we have to, when you recuse yourself from the dais, you not only can't just go sit in the audience, you have to leave the meeting room. So, Mr. Bryant's all the way out of the room. So, Mr. Jones, will you please read the summary statement?
Thank you, Mayor. Staff received requests from Westside Little League and Westside Recreation and Park District to have a parade of players on Saturday, March 21st, 2015. Additionally, they have requested to use the stage at 6th and Main Street for opening ceremonies on the same day. They have requested that fees be waived in the interest of the public benefit. Following streets have been designated for closure from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Center Street from 2nd Street to 10th Street, Main Street from 2nd to 10th, 2nd Street from Center Street to Supply Row. The following streets have been designated for closure. Center Street to Main Street, 10 a.m. is 8th, 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd Streets. From the alley of Main Street to the alley of North Street. Vehicle Code Section 211101 authorizes local agencies by resolution to close streets for special events.
Okay, the recommendation is, I entertain a motion to adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft authorizing street closure for Westside Little League Parade and Opening Ceremony, March 21st, 2015, and motion to waive fees in the interest of the public benefit."
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Ms. Hill?
I have no comment.
Mr. North?
Well, I should think that the public benefit of organized sporting activities would not be questioned by anybody. Get youth involved in these things, as a parent, support them. Childhood development starts in a very basic way at a very young age. I know my kids were involved in sports and swimming in school. My son has raced forever, and my wife and I cannot think back on a single day that we spent with our kids during those endeavors that we regret. So I truly believe this is the right thing to do, and we need to encourage kids and families to become involved in these things. So therefore, I would support this. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Cryer?
When I was a youngster, back in the day, I don't want to say what day it was, but I played Little League and baseball, and it's a great sport for youngsters. And you learn teamwork, you learn rules and regulations, why there's rules and regulations, as part of growing up as become citizens. And I totally support this.
Well, it sounds like they're having an Oil Dorado parade, so this is going to be quite a deal. So this is something maybe the community needs to support, and I definitely support the things that Councilman Nora mentioned. You know, we always had our kids in sports, and my kids didn't turn out too bad, and your kids didn't turn out too bad either. So Little League has always been an integral part of this community, and really, if you've not been down to the Little League fields, just go by and take a peek of what the Westside Recreation and Park District has done, and with the City of Taft offering some support. If you didn't know, the Recreation District has taken over those fields from the county, so they're back in our purvey, they're back in this community, and we'll know all you have to do is look at A Street Park from what it was under the county and what it is today. So they have done the same thing down there at those fields, and it's something to be proud of. So if you can support Little League by showing up on the 21st and just support them throughout the year, they would certainly appreciate it. So let's see, I need a motion, huh? No, we already had a vote. Okay, Madam Clerk, will you pull the board, please?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem North?
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Hill?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes, and that passes on a 4-0 vote with one absent. Oh, what, abstention or?
Correct.
Abstention, okay. Okay, last items on the council. I don't know if Mr. Bryant's going to come back in, because we are now going to go into closed session. The regular meeting's over for a moment. For item A, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9A, Taft Union High School versus City of Taft, unfortunately. Item B, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9A, City of Taft versus CDCR, that's California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. Item C, conference with real property negotiators, Government Code Section 54956.9C, 708 2nd Street. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. We are now in closed section.